Once upon a time, there lived two tribes known as the Israelites and the Philistines. Due to being enemies, they planned a large battle against each other and assembled armies. The Philistines had an enormous army, including a giant called Goliath. He was about 9 feet tall. He wore a huge helmet and armor all over his body. It was made of bronze and weighed 125 pounds. On his legs, Goliath also wore bronze greaves and had a sharp javelin on his back. He was holding a sharp spear shaft with an iron point. All in all, he was fit for battle and a terrifying threat to the Israelites. The Israelites also had a king called Saul who led them in wars. Every time the two tribes were on the battlefield, Goliath stepped forward and said, "Why do you come out and line up for battle? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us. Give me a man and let us fight each other." For 40 days, Goliath went towards the Israelites to ask for a battle. One day, a small Israelite shepherd boy called David had him chest thumping and decided he would be the one to fight Goliath. He asked his leader, King Saul, about this. The king agreed that David would be the one to fight Goliath and said, "Go, and the Lord be with you." King Saul dressed David in his very own tunic. Armor was put on his body for protection, and a large helmet was put on his head. But David was not used to this. "I cannot go in these because I'm not used to them," said David, and he removed the heavy armor. He then walked towards a nearby stream and put 5 smooth stones into the pouch of his shepherd bag. He then walked towards Goliath. When seeing David approaching, Goliath said, "Am I a dog that you have come at me with sticks? Come here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." David replied, saying, "You come against me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I have the Lord on my side." And all at once, he put one of the 5 stones into the sling, swung it around his head, and let the stone go. It hit Goliath's skull, and he fell face down to the ground. Not even with a sword or armor, David had killed Goliath and saved the Israelites from becoming slaves to the Philistines. David then grabbed Goliath's sword and used it to cut off the giant's head. The Israelites gasped in disbelief before cheering for David's victory. On the other hand, the Philistines realized their defeat and fled from the battlefield. You see, we tend to panic when we are out of sorts. We get anxious and worried in difficult times. As worry takes a good part of us, our powers and abilities just lay there unrealized. Most times we don't realize how gifted we are and think of powers having greatest of the materials or sophisticated of the weapons without looking within us. It is by having faith in the power vested in us and appreciating our smallness that we can grow. Small is beautiful. Always remember that you are more powerful in your originality, so be yourself and be unique. You will move mountains. If you ever get worked up or stressed in school or workplace, just take a break and listen to your inner voice. Look within you and you'll always find a solution. And always remember this: no one is better than you. It is all about your mindset, so don't compare yourself with anybody. Simply because others never did it, it doesn't mean you can't do it. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Just like David in this story, let your faith be greater than your fears. This is All Is Well Motivation Stories. Thanks so much for watching and stay well.